happy holidays and getting close, so I wish everybody the best. Also, first opportunity to be in front of you all. Funeral yesterday, but Mike Leach obviously played a big role in my development as a receiver when I was playing. He coached me, and then was very kind to me as a coach. So I want to say that we're thinking about him. Obviously, a lot of connections to him that have been in the West Virginia football program for a number of years now. So with that, this is always a really exciting day, and I think even as we've changed, now we have 2 signing days, and the portal's involved. I think this is still a huge moment for the signees and for programs each and every year. And just to think about this from the signees' perspective, it's an earned opportunity. Less than 1% of all high school football student athletes earn the opportunity to play at the Power 5 level, 65 institutions. A ton of sacrifices, parents, coaches, brothers, sisters, to get them to that. And it's really the culmination of their high school career and then the start of their college career. And then for a program, as you think about it, it's the conclusion of a 2 to 3 year process. And the process only continues to grow. There's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. A lot of it's in the entertainment aspects, but you got recruiting departments that continue to grow. You have scouting departments. We have our on-campus people. We have creative, and we can continue to go. But there's just a ton of work, and a lot of it's done by graduate assistants. A lot of it's done by interns, students, and it's the culmination, and it's a celebration in-house for a program and for a job well done, and also for those student athletes and their families. And I'm proud of this group of signees, and we'll talk about them here in a second, but a group that stayed committed. We had, I think, through all the turmoil, we really had 2 decommitments, and we've added some really good players even during this, and it's been some challenging, some tough times, but they stayed committed because of the relationships that we've built within this program, within this building, and also the belief in the vision. And so a couple notes on this class: 17 current high school signees. It'll definitely get to 18 today and maybe up to 19. As those come in, we'll release those. They just weren't ready for the press conference. So 9 states represented. Really proud of our coaches. We're back in Pennsylvania, and it's been a process, but we signed 5 Pennsylvania guys in the class today. If you look for themes, which I know some of you will, pass rush, you can see that was something that was really important. We needed to improve our overall pass rush. We have some guys here that have done a nice job, but we've got to improve that. One, versatility of running backs and tight ends and this is for a discussion for a different day, but as we evolve offensively, that was something that was really important to us, to have some tight ends that had the ability to catch the football down the field vertically, and some running backs that had versatility. And the other thing is box linebackers. We needed downhill box linebackers, and we felt like we ID'd and went and got those in this class. Here's what I want to do, something a little different. I just want to give you a little bit of, everybody can read Mike and Mike's bios. I want to give you something just on each guy that's a little bit behind the scenes, give something that maybe you do or you don't know. Sean Boyle, quarterback, I think he's a guy that flew under the radar that has a chance to grow. We saw him live multiple times. Neat fact for him, his mom, Michelle, is a Morgantown native, graduate of Morgantown High School, and a WVU grad. And even though he's from Charlotte, really grew up a West Virginia fan, 2-time state champion, played in kind of a wing T offense. So I think his best football is yet to come. Going right into a legacy, Noah Bram. Noah, obviously Dad Rich, great story, University High product, just like Noah. Rich walked on here as a tight end, played and developed really into one of the top offensive linemen that's ever played here at WVU, and then I think he played 13 years in the NFL. And Noah's going to give us a ton of versatility. Great baseball player, I think he can play a number of different positions. We're going to start him at kind of an H-back, and then I think as he goes, man, he's going to be not only really good in that role, he could play defense as well. He has that skill set. He's going to be a great special teams player. Ben Cutter, and so Ben Cutter is a guy that was under-recruited for a while, and then as he continued to play, he got more and more popular with a lot of schools. He's an early grad, and Sean Boyle's an early grad too, and I'll denote those so you know. He was a state champion, played in the Shrine Bowl, which is a huge accomplishment for North Carolina guys. I think he'll be a factor for us next year. Hard-nosed guy. Ryan Fisher from Kentucky. I've known his high school coach for a long time. His high school coach played at South Laurel High School and came to our camps at Troy, so that ages me a little bit. But this guy's a ton of potential, and we want to play him on the edge. He can play the field or boundary, 6'6", 215. I bet he's 240 by the time the season rolls around. He had 25 sacks in 2 years. That's impressive. Next guy, I'm just going in alphabetical order. Rodney Gallagher, the third. Rodney was probably as integral as a recruit that we've had here in my tenure. He's an All-American Bowl, whatever it's called, the game that's on his NBC now. And we treated him like a local player the whole time. This is how I describe it. The exit I get off of my house every single day, it says Uniontown. So he's got a PA address, but he's a local product, and probably the most highly recruited guy, maybe outside of Wyatt, within our local area since I've been the head coach here, and it was integral that we went and got him. Probably as enjoyable a recruiting process I've ever been involved with. Kaylee and Alyssa, his sisters, his dad, grandparent. I mean, really grew strong relationships there, and he's the pride of Uniontown, Laurel Highlands High School, and he's going to bring a big group. Every time I've been to a basketball game, it's standing room only. Every time I go to a football game, I've seen multiple live, it's standing room only. So I think we'll have some Rodney Gallagher effect right here too. Next guy is James Hurd, junior, early grad. He'll be here. He had 18 sacks in 9 games. And he is an elite pass rusher. Ball get off, no wasted movement, and he'll be a guy that will play from our first game. And I really feel strongly about that. Josiah Jackson is an early grad. He'll be here in January. He played in the U.S. Army Bowl last week. He was first team All-Ohio. We saw him live 2 years ago, and there was no question in our mind that he had the length, the versatility. He was going to be a guy for us. His twin brother Jordan, which is cool, had a couple of different brother tandems here and at Troy, and his best football is ahead of him. He played running back in high school. He's going to transition. He's one of the top track athletes in the state of Ohio as well. Next guy is TJ Johnson. TJ is an early grad. He's a legacy as well. His dad, Torrey Sr., played here. His mom, Tiffany, is a WVU grad. This dude and he's got a younger brother as well, but they bled gold and blue since the beginning, and it's a neat family. 2-time state champion. To watch his progression, he's came to camp 3 years, and to watch his progression, some of you guys have been at those camps, watch him grow. He'll start here and play kind of an inside receiver, but he's going to grow into, I think, has an opportunity to be a premier tight end, and I believe he will. Zachariah Keith from Douglas County, Georgia. He's got 20 sacks the last 2 years. Body type wise, he's going to remind you a lot of Sean Martin when you see him. All-State Georgia, really high upside. Next guy is Nick Cray. Nick Cray, I really believe will be a multiple-year starter here. He's a great basketball player. Goes for a double-double, multiple years in basketball. He 4.0 plus GPA. How do you get higher than a 4.0? Probably nobody in this room has to worry about that, but his is above a 4.0. Next guy is DJ Oliver. So DJ played for Tanner Jones. Tanner Jones was a quarterback for us at Troy when I was an assistant coach there back in the mid-2000s. And DJ's from Port St. Joe in the Panhandle of Florida, in an area that we really know well. And he's a big league back. All right, he's 240 pounds. I think the neat thing about him is he's a state finalist in shot put. He's a state finalist in the 100 meters and a state finalist in weightlifting. You know, and just I think kind of a steal late in the process. Traylon Ray, North Florida Christian, receiver, guy that he plays all three sports. He's a baseball player and probably good enough to play at this level in baseball. Basketball, walked in to watch him a couple weeks ago. The first thing I saw was a slam and like a hard, like he brought it down. And so that was exciting. Also a really good kickoff and punt return. Next guy is Josiah Trotter. He's an early grad. He was a defensive leader in his class. He's playing in the same All-American Bowl on NBC that Rodney is. 3-time state champion. His family handled this recruiting process probably as good as anybody. His brother's having a tremendous career at Clemson. His dad, obviously, a long-time NFL player, really a great player for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaheim White, several of you guys were at this camp when he showed up here before his junior year and really put on a show. And he earned a scholarship opportunity that day, and he's continued. You know, I wrote this down to make sure I had this right. He's almost got 6,000 career rushing yards. I mean, 6,000. I can't remember. I'm not saying I haven't, but I can't remember signing a guy and has over 10 yards a carry. Johnny Williams is an offensive lineman. When I went to see him, he filled up the whole door frame of his house. And, you know, he's an early grad. He's got a twin sister who's a great athlete as well. They were the king and queen of the homecoming game, and they're both in the top 10 of their class at Northeast High School in Macon. I think he's been a 4-year starter in high school. He's one of the top tackles in the country. And then Cooper Young. Cooper Young's an offensive lineman, Downingtown, PA. That's an area that turns out a lot of really good offensive line prospects. He's at Downingtown West. Really good baseball player. He's been all region in baseball. He's a guy that we had in camp multiple times and one of the top interior linemen in the country. So excited about that group. Want to kind of give you a little bit of some things maybe that Mike didn't include in those bios. And with that, I'll take questions.